The Bourne Legacy is the fourth film dealing with the journey of super ass-kicking spy Jason Bourne. His story continues here. What? Matt Damon isn't in this? So who's replacing him? Jeremy Renner? The dude from The Hurt Locker and Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol? Is this happening in sort of a Roger Moore replaced Sean Connery as James Bond kind of way? He's playing a different character? So then, it's not really a Bourne movie. It is. Sort of? If it's a new character, why not just rename the movie? What's his name? Aaron Cross? What the f***?
I review movie previews.
If there's one thing you don't do, it's cross Aaron Cross. You've heard of double cross and triple cross. Now it's time for Aaron Cross. It just doesn't have the right ring to it, does it? What's up, good movie lovers? Welcome to a preview review for The Bourne Legacy, an apparent spin-off or sidequel that continues the story as it was left off in the Bourne Ultimatum, where Jason Bourne exposed the secret CIA training programs Blackbriar and Treadstone, bringing to justice all those involved. The last thing we saw in Ultimatum, which technically wasn't the Ultimatum-ish Bourne installment because here's another one, so technically it's now the penultimate, is Jason jumping into the East River, probably shot, his body floating, and his death reported. But just as the movie is fading to black, he comes to life and swims away, predictably leaving the door open for a sequel, quill. That was 2007, 5 years ago. In a half-decade, a lot can happen in H-Wood, a place just as political and deal-fragile as Washington, D.C. So let's take a look at the factors that gave us this sidequel. This series is based on the books of the same name by thriller novelist Robert Ludlum. There is a fourth book in the series named The Bourne Legacy, written after Ludlum's death by Eric Van Lustbader. That story has Bourne as the main character. Here in the film, the only element of the book that survives the adaptation process is the title. Everything seemed to be in place for the Bourne franchise assembly line to roll out another quality 2-hour cinematic chapter in what is really one of the best movie trilogies ever. Co-writer of the first 3 movies, Tony Gilroy, was attached. Co-writer of Ultimatum, George Nolfi, was also retained. So was Supremacy and Ultimatum director Paul Greengrass, until 2009, when Greengrass said he wasn't interested. Then Matt Damon, who already had been quoted as saying, "We can't keep going on forever," whenever the subject of another Bourne movie was brought up, reported that he would not be involved if Greengrass wasn't. Then Nolfi canceled, and Tony Gilroy was left to write and direct. At first, it's obvious that Universal Pictures doesn't want to let go of the easy money this is guaranteed to make. In 2002, Bourne Identity made $214 million worldwide. 2 years later, Supremacy made $273. And 3 years after that, audiences went crazy for Ultimatum, giving it $441 million. Of course, no executive is going to want to throw that away. But without the core creative team behind the quality and success, can Legacy keep this reputation of perfectly balancing the commercial and the art of H-Wood movie making? As a director, Tony Gilroy has a small but solid resume, having done Michael Clayton and Duplicity. As a writer, he's more experienced, having been involved with the Bourne saga from its origins, as well as other notable films like The Devil's Advocate, Proof of Life, and State of Play. Honestly, if there's anyone to choose for this, it's Tony Gilroy. This is basically a long-awaited promotion, and that's going to motivate him even more to prove that he deserves this and has the skills to make us, the audience, feel like it deserves to have the Bourne name attached to it. Also returning here to make us feel like this is really part of the same universe and timeline are Joan Allen as Pam Landy, Albert Finney as Dr. Albert Hirsch. That's weird. Never noticed that the actor and the character have the same first name. What's up with that? And David Strathairn, returning as the CIA douchebag weasel we love to hate, Noah Volson. Add to that thespian mix Edward Norton and Rachel Weisz, and it really seems like the acting and characters should be solid. And of course, as the credits roll at the end, Moby's Extreme Ways will be playing. But just because it's going to feel like a Bourne movie, is it really? And do we care one way or the other? I've been trying to find an example of a sidequel in recent movie history. Can you remember a major franchise leaving its main character and switching perspectives to another? If so, leave the titles in the comments section. James Bond switched actors, but kept the character. It was always Bond, just different faces. I guess Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Disappointing Letdown tried it when Shia LaBeouf was brought in as the Passing of the Torch character. But come on, will anybody really go see an Indiana Jones movie without Indiana Jones? It seems that if H. Wood does try it, usually the movies go straight to DVD or Netflix, like Wrong Turn 2 or Bring It On, The New Class. Rarely is this move made on the big screen. TV has tried it a lot. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. All in the Family led to Good Times, The Jeffersons, and Archie Bunker's Place. Cheers created Frasier. Different Strokes led to The Facts of Life. The X-Files begot The Lone Gunman, and recently, Family Guy spawned The Cleveland Show. Financially, this strategy doesn't work well with movies because they're an all-or-nothing gamble. They're so expensive to make, they're basically $100 million bets that within 4 weeks, the budget of a film will at least be made back with hopefully a little bit of profit on top of that. With this kind of move, why take the risk of taking a popular series in a new direction with a new character? Aaron Cross. He's got you in the crosshairs. That nobody has ever heard of or cared about. Obviously, the studio here is banking on the franchise name. Honestly, if this was called The Cross Rejuvenation or some nobody would go see it. Actually, let's create a new warning sign here. Number 98. But I thought box office dollars. There will be a good number of us who don't realize there is no Bourne before it's too late. We'll be sitting in the theater thinking, but I thought Jason Bourne was in this. By then, our money will be on the way to the H. Wood Bank. We should admit, the advertising is at least trying to make it clear that Bourne isn't in this, with the first half of the teaser preview focusing on introducing this new character. In the preview, we hear an off-screen authoritative voice ask, "What's your name?" And we see a beaten the up dude say, "Cat Gibson." It's hard to make out. He obviously got hit by a truck in the face, so maybe his jaw's broken and he wanted to say Matt Gibson, so let's just say Gibson. Then the voice asks, "Where are you from?" He answers, "Reno." Then, "Will you give yourself to the program?" "Yes, sir." Then it becomes a sort of $6 million man intro as the female doctor starts experimenting and fixing him. We hear her say, "Right hand, please." Then we see an injection and hear a reaction. "Well, that's healed well." She asks, "Any diminished sensation?" He answers, "No." Then Edward Norton, here known as Buyer, who looks to be the bad guy of the movie, a type of role we haven't seen Norton play since Primal Fear. He says, "There is nothing that you won't do for your country. You have the strength to do what's necessary." And then, as a sign of the completion of his training, Dr. Albert Hirsch is seen in a very classic talking to Jason Bourne, low-angle framed pose, saying, "Welcome to the program." Then the tagline, "There was never just one," makes it clear that what we've been watching is the introduction of a new character that's meant to carry the franchise from this point on. Then we see Jeremy Renner, aka Aaron Cross, like crisscross, Aaron Cross will make you jump, is revealed as the new operative now in action with Edward Norton's voiceover. Jason Bourne was the tip of the iceberg. Action scenes of Aaron Cross, he's catching the crosstown bus, kicking ass in Bourne hand-to-hand combat style follow. Then we see a guy who at first glance kinda looks like Albert Finney angrily asking, "Who the hell is he?" That's actually, hey, I know that guy, he's been in a bunch of stuff supporting actor Stacy Keach. He's got a Morgan Freeman-type documentary, narration-worthy voice, and has been in movies forever, playing alongside Kurt Russell in Escape from LA and Edward Norton in American History X. I kinda wish he would have been included in the Expendables 2, but maybe Sly is saving that for part 3. Here, Keach plays Turso, most likely a role similar to the one Chris Cooper had playing Conklin in the Bourne Identity. In a lot of ways, Turso's question here is really asked because we, the audience, are thinking the same thing and feeling the same emotion. A new character replacing Bourne in a Bourne movie? Who the hell is he? Now it becomes obvious that the preview is designed to calm our worries and to let us know, hey, this new guy is even more badass than Jason Bourne. Norton says he's an outcome agent. Then Joan Allen says he's Treadstone without the inconsistencies. Then we get glimpses of Noah Volson and threatening Inception-style inspired music plays. There's a moment of silence and some random female doctor or agent or someone says, "We have never seen evaluations like this." And then boom, cut back to MacGyver McGruber-style Bourne fighting and blowing up. A low-angle, nervous camera shot of Norton's character informs us that he'll be the new douchebag CIA guy trying to cover things up. Then, a final close-up of Aaron Cross. They crossed the wrong cross. Aiming a sniper rifle as it fades to black and we see the title. It looks like a Bourne movie, it feels like one. The director-writer is great, so are the actors, but do we want to start a new journey with another character through familiar territory? I mean, come on, it's gonna be the same story. CIA trains a badass killing machine, Aaron Cross. Enigma had an album named Cross of Changes in 1994. Something goes wrong, and he turns against them, goes out of control, and now his one-time teachers and trainers fight to eliminate or capture him. Tony Gilroy has said he wants to enrich, layer, and expand the Bourne universe. But still, do we want to reinvest with this new main character, Aaron Cross? If you piss him off, make the sign of the cross, 'cause you gonna die. Or will the support characters be enough reason for us to come back? As for Jeremy Renner as the main character, he's alright. While he's not on my list of top 10 amazing actors, he tends to do a good job with what he's given. But at the same time, for this role, it seems like he's believable enough as an authentic, personality-neutral, ass-kicking super agent. Overall, I'm willing to give it a chance. While it's obvious the studio doesn't want to let a billion-dollar franchise go, and this could be taken as an act of cinematic desperation, there are enough elements of movie hope here. The biggest reason to expect quality here is Tony Gilroy. If he can't make it work, then this should be the last installment. The idea of a sidequel or a spinoff here has a sort of Watchmen or Lost influence, where multiple characters are explored, creating a handful of developed main characters that, who knows, one day might be brought together in an Avengers or Expendables type of way, making a mega Bourne movie with 3 or 4 agents trying to take down Treadstone, Blackbriar, mega CIA douchebags. Uh-oh. Hwood just got a new idea. With all this considered, let's give it a worthy of big screen viewing at matinee price. I do like that it's not in 3D, so at least Universal isn't trying to blatantly milk us for every last cent. We'll see it because we have obsessive compulsive franchise disorder and need to see every installment of a given movie series. There is action, director factors involved. You know what you're getting. It's not that different. Studio market research and the pre-existing fan base, which usually guarantees box office, are definite reasons for this movie's existence. And since it's been like 5 years, there's a little bit of nostalgia factor going on when it comes to our interest in it. Is this movie hope or movie apocalypse? In general, there's nothing wrong with sequels, reboots, remakes, or in this case, sidequels, as long as there is effort, energy, creativity, and inspiration involved, balancing out the profit motivation in the making of a movie. Here it seems that Tony Gilroy and those involved want to give us a well-made Bourne universe-enriching story, so we have to give it movie hope. In terms of its place in movie history, because it's basically introducing a new character, it's closer to the Bourne identity in its story, and with Gilroy having had 3 movies and 10 years of experience to inform his film here, it should be better than that initial film, but not as good as the Bourne series' hitting stride sequel, The Bourne Supremacy. As for its story consciousness, it's static. It's not really pushing any boundaries, not trying to do anything new, so it can't be called progressive. But it's not regressive because it's maintaining the quality at the standard level established in the previous films. How much money is this going to make? Ultimatum made $69 million opening weekend, Supremacy $52, and Identity $27. This is going to be a big test for H-Wood, and a lot of studios will be paying attention to this gamble. If it succeeds, expect every major franchise of the last 5 years to have a sidequel, because Ultimatum, much like the upcoming Dark Knight Rises, was the climax of a long cinematic journey, so it banked the most. But here we have the continuation and introduction of a new one, yet in a familiar reality with a profitable title. It comes out 2 weeks after The Dark Knight Rises, and the same weekend as the Total Recall remake. And in its favor is that other than Expendables 2, August is an action-free movie month, so it should have a chance to collect There's Nothing Else Out box office dollar. Let's say opening weekend it'll make $50 million with a worldwide total of $300. What do you think, good movie lovers? Are you buying into the spin-off aspect of the story? Is it Jason Bourne or nothing for you? Or is it interesting enough to give it a chance? Or is it just a clever CIA-worthy disguise undercover Aaron Cross double cross on the audience money grab? Leave your thoughts in the comments section. Consider yourselves advised for the Bourne Legacy. Remember, H-Wood aka StoryCorp always give us more of what we pay for, so choose your movies wisely. And until next time, long live good movies.